Flow 1, 2, 3 star. Hey Soap, love your vids. My question: in what time period and location in history would you rather be an assassin? Floris. Would I rather be an assassin? I don't know. I mean, I know time periods I would want to live in. Like, for example, I would want to have been born in the 50s and kind of became an adult in the 60s. I think that would be really cool. Also, I could say the same for like the 1910s, 20s, 30s, like the whole gangster mob kind of era with the Prohibition and the Great Depression and stuff like that, because I just think that's very interesting. Skipping some wars in there because I don't want to be like, well, yeah, say, never catch me compassing, and then, all right, now you got to go off to war. No, my dames. But as far as being an assassin, like medieval kind of, you know, Dark Ages kind of time, I think would be really cool. You know, most battles are fought with armor, very noisy armor. I think the idea of being quiet in a very noisy situation and being effective, I think that's really a really cool idea. Plus, there was no like sniper rifles. You know, you still have bows and things like that, but find a way to be kind of sneaky, kind of like the first Assassin's Creed game. But also samurai and shogun kind of setup, that would be cool too. But I would say probably go to the first Assassin's Creed game, that time period. That would probably be the best, at least for me. I has swag. Can you do a face reveal? No. Aiden Green, what is that dog doing and what are those posters? Throwback to the whenever I announced this thing. What is the dog doing? Well, in that video, he was just walking around looking out the window. Now he is in his cage, sleeping. He's a sleepy, lazy dog. What are those posters? So, this one should be kind of obvious because it says it right there. Fight Club. It's my favorite movie of all time. And then this one, that's Evil Dead. I'm not going to move the camera for this, but just take my word on it. I have another Fight Club poster above my TV. It's called The First Rule, The Art of Justin Reed. Go look that up. He's done some other movie stuff too, and it's really cool. And then over here on this wall is a Achievement Hunter from their extra live stream, not last year, but the year before, where they did the Achievement Hunters. It's like a comic. It's basically take on X-Men, I forget which issue it is, number 1 or 100 or something like that. Yeah, it's just like this comic book poster of Achievement Hunters because I love those guys. And then there's some more stuff. I maybe have to do a tour of this at some point, but above me over here, they look like film celluloid. It's like a screenshot from a movie and it looks like on the edges the actual film part of it. James Bond, Sean Connery, James Bond, right here playing some poker. And then over here, some Rat Pack, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, because I love those guys. And then you can kind of see the actual frame of it here. This is a Jimi Hendrix poster kind of thing because he's the greatest guitar player of all time and one of my bigger influences in life. And then above it is a Pulp Fiction black and white poster, the infamous Travolta and Sam Jackson standing there with the guns and the suits and things like that. That's that poster. Hopefully that answers the question. Tori Zire asks, question: if you had full creative control and an unlimited budget, what kind of game would you make? I know my YouTube name is odd, so just reference Bria if you answer. Arrow eyes. I have two answers for that because I remember I saw this comment and I was like, indeed. One is I would take an existing property, namely Legend of Zelda, because best video game of all time, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, done. But make it as big and as epic and as huge as Shadow of the Colossus, which is my second favorite game of all time. If I could somehow mash those together and make Link have to just deal with things of an epic scale and made it a bit more adult and a bit more dark, no real dialogue, just you and the world just going at it, take my money now. But if I could make it, then there you go. But there's a second answer, and this one is actually, I think, a brand new idea. Copyright Codename Soap 2015. I'm a huge detective noir pulp fan, and so I think what I would do, and this would be the one that I would probably actually do because I wouldn't be able to make the Legend of Zelda one, but anyway, LA Noire I thought was a good game, but it was missing out on some stuff. So essentially what I would do is I would incorporate some elements of LA Noire where it's like, you know, the facial stuff I thought was really good, but I would make it a bit more gritty is the best way to put it. LA Noire seemed a little on the lighthearted side, even though it was dealing with like the Black Dahlia murders and some arsonists and, you know, various things like that. I would want to bring it down, like the movie Seven, but with a detective, just you by yourself. You're a private eye, you know, PI gumshoe, as they would say, and you get, you know, people coming to you, usually it's a dame in a red dress, come to you with like, hey, this thing's going on. The actual gameplay, you know, you have to actually like investigate, kind of like in LA Noire a little bit. You have to go to a crime scene and check things out, but here's where it mixes with the modern age, if you will. So it's set in the 20s, 30s, somewhere in there, but you as the player playing it and looking back on what happened can actually solve these mysteries by things you have available to you today. Let me give you an example. So if you're playing the game and a character happens to reference, say, a book, for example, in the game itself, you won't be able to just know what it is because your character hasn't read the book. So what are you going to do? You have to get a clue from a book in order to advance in the story. So here's what you do. You can take a piece of technology such as a phone and look around on the internet, and if it's a real book, you can maybe find it. If you happen to have it available, you can pick it up and, oh, they made this reference in the book. There's the answer. There's the clue. I am doing the detective work myself instead of the game handing it to me. But there would also be, I forget, there was a couple movies than this where they make websites for things in the movie, and you can kind of go on this mystery quest. J.J. Abrams stuff is really good about it. There would be these really obscure references, and you could not progress in your detective work and in your story unless you in the modern age went onto this website and like figured out some puzzles and some clues and things. So the game itself doesn't travel through time, but it's told in a way to where you in the present and can interact with the past. And I think it would be a really good way to have interactive technology as opposed to just motion controls and cameras that look at you and things like that. A game like that, I would just lose my mind over. You heard it here first. Copyright Codenames of 2015.